All right, settle in, make yourself comfortable, and let your mind drift with this story. Imagine a warm, gentle breeze, the scent of lavender in the air, and let your eyelids grow heavy as the tale unfolds. The lavender lighthouse keeper. The salt spray kissed Alara's face as she stood at the top of the lighthouse. The year was 1888, and Alara had become the keeper of the North Star Lighthouse after her grandfather, a gruff but loving old sea dog, had finally retired. The lighthouse, perched on a small, windswept island off the coast of Brittany, was her sanctuary. Its rhythmic pulse of light was her responsibility, a beacon in the often turbulent night. Alara loved the solitude. Days were spent polishing the massive lens, meticulously checking the machinery, reading tattered novels in the sun-drenched lantern room, and writing in her journal, filling it with observations of the sea, the birds, and the ever-changing moods of the sky. Evenings were for lighting the lamp, watching the moon rise over the water, and listening to the crashing waves sing their timeless song. But sometimes the solitude felt heavy. Sometimes the relentless roar of the ocean echoed the longing in her heart. She yearned for connection, for someone to share the breathtaking beauty with, someone to understand the quiet magic of her island home. One particularly stormy autumn evening, a small fishing boat, caught in a sudden squall, sent out a desperate signal. Alara, from her high vantage point, guided them through the treacherous rocks with the steady beam of the North Star. She watched as the boat, battered but afloat, limped into the sheltered cove on the island's southern side. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving behind a sky washed clean and sparkling. Alara walked down to the cove to check on the fisherman. There, tending to his damaged vessel, was a man with eyes the color of the sea after a storm, and hair the shade of sun-bleached rope. His name was Ronan. Ronan was a fisherman from a nearby village. He'd been caught unawares by the storm, and without Alara's guidance, he knew he wouldn't have made it. He was deeply grateful, his voice thick with sincerity as he thanked her. Alara, usually reserved, found herself drawn to Ronan's gentle nature and quiet strength. She showed him the best way to repair his boat, sharing her grandfather's knowledge of the sea and the secrets of mending nets. He, in turn, told her stories of his village, of his family, of the vibrant life she only glimpsed from her solitary tower. As the days turned into weeks, Ronan remained on the island, helping Alara with her duties, repairing the lighthouse after the storm's assault, and sharing meals with her in the cozy kitchen. They walked along the windswept cliffs, hand in hand, watching the seabirds soar. They sat in comfortable silence in the lantern room, bathed in the warm glow of the lamp, simply enjoying each other's presence. He learned to anticipate her needs, bringing her wildflowers he found growing in sheltered spots on the island. She taught him the names of the constellations, pointing them out in the velvet night sky. With each passing day, their connection deepened, like the roots of an ancient tree, anchoring them to each other, to the island they both loved. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of fiery orange and soft lavender, Ronan took Alara's hand. He looked into her eyes, his own filled with a depth of emotion that mirrored her own. "Alara," he said, his voice soft against the backdrop of the ocean's murmur, "before I met you, the sea was just my livelihood. Now, it reminds me of your eyes, deep, mysterious, and endlessly captivating. This island was just a landmark. Now, it's the place where I found my heart." He paused, then gently brushed a strand of hair from her face. "I know you love this lighthouse, this solitude, but I also see the longing in your eyes. I can't promise you a life without storms, Alara, but I promise to face them with you, hand in hand. Will you leave this island with me, not forever, but to share my life in the village?" Alara's heart swelled with a joy she had never known. She looked at Ronan, at the genuine love shining in his eyes, and knew she had found something truly special. The lighthouse had been her sanctuary, but Ronan offered her something more, a home in his heart, a place where she could be both strong and vulnerable, both independent and cherished. "Ronan," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes, "I thought my life was here in this tower. But you've shown me that home isn't a place, it's a person." "Yes," she said, her voice firm with conviction. "Yes, I will go with you." He smiled, a radiant, heart-stopping smile, and pulled her close, holding her tight as the last rays of the setting sun painted them in a golden glow. The next morning, they packed Alara's belongings, leaving the lighthouse in the capable hands of a temp.